It looked like a perfect family comedy, but off-screen, life wasn't so picture-perfect. From tragic accidents and career collapses to private battles no one saw coming, the cast of The Parent Trap, 1998, faced storms that could rival any Hollywood drama. What became of the twins, the parents, and the people behind those iconic smiles? The truth might surprise you. Dennis Quaid as Nick Parker. Do you remember Nick Parker, the easygoing Napa Valley dad who made audiences believe in second chances? Dennis Quaid played the kind of father every child wished they had. Funny, spontaneous, flawed, and full of heart in The Parent Trap, 1998. But the man behind that grin had lived through storms far darker than anything Disney could write. Long before fame, Dennis was a Texas kid with a dream too big for his small world. He dropped out of college, packed his guitar and ambition, and drove to Hollywood with no plan except make it. The rejections came fast and often, dozens of auditions that went nowhere. But he refused to leave. His break came with Breaking Away, 1979, and The Right Stuff, 1983, and he became America's boyish new hero. By the late 80s, cocaine had replaced confidence. Hollywood parties became traps of their own. "I couldn't have fun unless I had it," he later admitted. He lost control, friends, and nearly his life. During Wyatt Earp, 1994, he starved himself to play Doc Holliday, losing 40 pounds and triggering anorexia nervosa, something rarely spoken about in men. Then came one of the darkest nights of his life. In 2008, his newborn twins were accidentally given a fatal overdose of heparin at the hospital, a nurse's mistake. They survived, but Dennis didn't come out unscarred. The guilt, the fear, the sleepless nights, it nearly broke him. Dennis Quaid played Nick Parker when he was 44 years old. Now, at 71, he lives in Nashville, still acting and touring with his band Dennis Quaid and the Sharks. His estimated net worth is $30 million, built over 100 films from The Day After Tomorrow, 2004, to Reagan, 2024. Lindsay Lohan as Hallie Parker and Annie James. Lindsay Lohan burst onto the screen as Hallie and Annie, two twins separated by fate, united by mischief, and brought to life by a single 12-year-old girl with impossible charm. That dual magic made her a household name overnight and Disney's new golden child. But behind that sunshine smile was a kid under pressure no child should bear. Since age 3, Lindsay had been working, modeling, shooting commercials, and memorizing lines before she even learned long division. Hollywood adored her, but it devoured her youth. Constant schedules, endless camera flashes, and adults chasing profit left her exhausted before she reached high school. Then came the breaking point. After Mean Girls made her America's sweetheart, the tabloids turned on her like wolves. Rehab, arrests, lawsuits, it all became public theater. The same studios that once praised her now called her uninsurable. Just My Luck, Georgia Rule, and I Know Who Killed Me were meant to rebuild her image, but instead they exposed how deeply fame had broken her. Addiction, anxiety, and depression haunted her through her 20s. She lost millions, friends, and credibility. Yet somehow she clawed her way back. After years away from Hollywood, Lindsay returned stronger, with Falling for Christmas, 2022, Irish Wish, 2024, and a reunion with Jamie Lee Curtis in Freakier Friday, 2025. Lindsay Lohan played Hallie Parker and Annie James when she was 12 years old. Now, at 39, she lives between Dubai and the U.S., balancing work, family, and a quiet new life. Her net worth was estimated around $2 million. Natasha Richardson as Elizabeth James. Natasha Richardson brought elegance and heartbreak to The Parent Trap, 1998, as Elizabeth James, the British fashion designer and loving mother who made forgiveness feel like poetry. Every scene she touched radiated warmth. Every smile hid a hint of sorrow. But that grace came from a lifetime of struggle, sacrifice, and quiet endurance. Born into the legendary Redgrave acting family, Natasha's biggest battle was identity. She worked tirelessly on London stages, The Seagull, A Midsummer Night's Dream, High Society, scraping for recognition, earning applause one curtain call at a time. Nights were cold, pay was small, but her heart was stubborn. She refused to quit. Her moment came with Anna Christie in 1993, where she met Liam Neeson, and again in Cabaret, 1998, where she won the Tony Award for Best Actress. But success had its price. Long rehearsals, emotional exhaustion, and time away from her children left her physically drained. And then, tragedy, sudden and cruel. On March 16, 2009, during a ski lesson in Canada, she fell, laughed it off, said she was fine. Hours later, she wasn't. A hidden brain hemorrhage stole her consciousness, then her life. Natasha Richardson played Elizabeth James when she was 35 years old. She passed away on March 18, 2009, at age 45, from an epidural hematoma. Her net worth at the time was $15 million, managed by Neeson for their 2 sons. Elaine Hendrix as Meredith Blake. Who could ever forget Meredith Blake? That stylish, no-nonsense fiancée who made every kid in The Parent Trap, 1998, cheer for her downfall and secretly admire her confidence? Elaine Hendrix owned that role with such flair that villain suddenly looked like power. But behind that dazzling smirk was a survivor who had already fought her hardest battle long before Hollywood even noticed her. Before acting, Elaine danced for Nike, MC Hammer, and Keith Sweat, a whirlwind of lights, rhythm, and applause. Then, in 1992, everything stopped. While biking in Los Angeles, she was hit by a car, crushing her dreams of dancing forever. "I lost my career in an instant," she once said, "but I wasn't going to lose myself." Her recovery led her to the screen. Yet when Romy and Michelle's high school reunion, 1997, and The Parent Trap hit, she found herself trapped again. This time in typecasting. The industry loved her as the mean girl, elegant, intimidating, untouchable. But the truth was harder. Those labels cut deep, and the pain from her old injuries never really left. Still, Elaine never stopped. Between acting gigs and physical pain, she turned her life toward compassion, rescuing animals, mentoring young women, and speaking up for equality. When Dynasty came calling in 2019, she didn't just return to TV. She reclaimed her story. Elaine Hendrix played Meredith Blake when she was 28 years old. Today, at 55, she lives in Los Angeles, balancing her acting career with animal rights activism. Her estimated net worth is $2 million, earned not from playing villains, but from becoming her own kind of hero. Joanna Barnes as Vicky Blake. Joanna Barnes lit up The Parent Trap, 1998, with her biting wit as Vicky Blake, the sharp-tongued high society mother of the scheming Meredith. Her elegant arrogance made her impossible to ignore. But behind that composed smile was a woman who had been fighting Hollywood's cruel typecasting game for decades. Born in Boston to a respectable middle-class family, Joanna was too educated, too articulate, too clever for the roles producers wanted women to play. Yet she kept showing up until her talent broke through with Auntie Mame, 1958, earning her a Golden Globe nomination. Success came, but at a price. She was branded the elegant villain, the woman audiences loved to hate. The 1960s were both glamorous and brutal. Studios wanted her face but not her mind. She juggled bit parts in The Beverly Hillbillies, Tarzan, The Ape Man, and Spartacus, while privately battling exhaustion and heartbreak from 2 failed marriages. The spotlight burned bright, but it left scars. When the roles dried up, Joanna reinvented herself as a novelist, penning The Deceivers, 1970. Yet, aging in an industry obsessed with youth brought its own cruelty. By her 70s, declining health, heart trouble, breathing issues, and early cognitive loss forced her into quiet retirement. Joanna Barnes played Vicki Blake when she was 64 years old. She passed away on April 29, 2022, at her home in Sea Ranch, California, at 87, after years of battling multiple illnesses. Her estimated net worth was $1 million, built from decades of acting and writing. Ronnie Stevens as grandfather Charles James. If you remember that kind old man with the twinkle in his eye and the gentle laugh in The Parent Trap, 1998, that was Ronnie Stevens, the warm-hearted grandfather Charles James, who made the family feel whole again. He seemed like someone you could hug. But behind that kind face was a man who had lived through heartbreak and loss that no script could ever capture. Ronnie's story began in the rough streets of Peckham, London. When World War II broke out, he joined the Royal Engineers and RAF, witnessing the kind of horrors that stay in a man's eyes forever. When peace came, he chased laughter, acting in stage reviews. For decades, he was a staple of British television. Dentist on the Job, 1961, The Goodies, yes, Prime Minister. But fame came with a cruel edge. He was forever the funny sidekick, never the star. Then tragedy struck again in 1990 when his son Paul died from cystic fibrosis, a loss that aged him overnight. By the time he filmed The Parent Trap, Ronnie was tired. It was his final role, a goodbye hidden in plain sight. He poured all his kindness, all his years of quiet strength, into grandfather Charles, and then he walked away from acting for good. Ronnie Stevens played Charles James when he was 73 years old. He passed away on November 11, 2006, at 81, just months after losing his beloved wife, Anne. His estimated net worth was $500,000, but money was never his measure. Maggie Wheeler as Marva Culp Jr. Marva Culp Jr. didn't smile much. Strict posture, sharp tone, and no-nonsense energy. But the actress behind that camp counselor uniform, Maggie Wheeler, carried a spark that television never forgot. Before that laugh echoed across living rooms, Maggie's career was full of almosts. She'd come close to big breaks, only to see them slip away, including losing the role of Monica Geller. Rejection became familiar, and for a while she questioned if she even belonged on set. Then came a small offer, a one-episode guest spot named Janice. She said yes without knowing it would change her entire life. Fame hit fast, but it wasn't kind. People mocked her voice until it became both her signature and her burden. She laughed along on the outside but carried quiet anxiety underneath. "I gave them joy," she once said, "and they called it annoying." Instead of running from it, Maggie transformed it. She became a powerhouse in voice acting. Batman, the animated series, Archer, Barbie of Swan Lake, and found her peace in music and teaching. Maggie Wheeler played Marva Culp Jr. when she was 37 years old. Today, at 64, she continues performing, singing, and mentoring young artists in Los Angeles. Her estimated net worth is $2 million, but her true success lies in how she turned mockery into purpose. Cat Graham as Jackie. Jackie was the cheerful, bright-eyed camper who lit up every scene in The Parent Trap, 1998. Behind that smile was a 9-year-old Cat Graham, already carrying more determination than most adults. Cat's childhood was filled with struggle. Her parents' divorce left her mother raising her alone after escaping an abusive marriage. Money was scarce, and every audition mattered. She started appearing in commercials at 6, dancing for stars like Missy Elliott and Pharrell by 15. Every job helped keep her family standing. Breaking into Hollywood as a biracial actress was brutal. She faced rejection for her looks, her voice, and even her confidence. But she pushed forward. When The Vampire Diaries came along, Kat turned pain into power. As Bonnie Bennett, she gave millions of viewers a hero who was strong, loyal, and deeply human. The show made her a star, but it also drained her, long hours and constant scrutiny. With time, she found a new purpose. As a UNHCR Goodwill Ambassador, Kat uses her fame to fight for refugees and survivors of violence. Kat Graham played Jackie when she was 9 years old. Today, at 36, she lives in Atlanta, dividing her time between acting, music, and humanitarian work. Her net worth is about $3 million. Lisa Ann Walter as Chessie. There's something about Chessie. The way she rolls her eyes, the way her heart shows before her words do. That warmth was pure Lisa Ann Walter. She turned a supporting role into the emotional heartbeat of The Parent Trap, 1998. The kind of character who makes you feel at home even when you're just watching from the couch. Before that smile lit up Disney screens, Lisa's path was anything but easy. She was grinding through stand-up clubs, juggling kids and rent. When her first show, My Wildest Dreams, 1995, got canceled after one short season, she called it a heartbreak disguised as show business. Her strength showed in Life's Work, 1996, a show she created and starred in herself. Yet the industry still tried. Comments about her weight, constant rejection, and pressure to fit the TV mold pushed her into self-doubt and emotional battles with food. But Lisa never stopped laughing. Or fighting. The Parent Trap brought her into millions of hearts, and decades later, Abbott Elementary brought her the recognition she always deserved, including an Emmy. Lisa Ann Walter played Chessie when she was 35 years old. Now 62, she still lives in Los Angeles, acting, writing, and inspiring with a sharp wit that's weathered storms. Her net worth is about $4 million, but her real wealth is in her resilience. Polly Holliday as Marva Culp Sr. Marva Culp Sr. was the kind of camp director every kid secretly feared but ultimately admired. Polly Holliday brought her to life with that firm voice, knowing smile, and quiet authority that only decades of stage experience could give. Before joining The Parent Trap, 1998, Polly had already made television history. Her role as Flo in Alice made her a household name and earned her 2 Golden Globes. The line, "Kiss my grits," became part of American pop culture. Yet the fame that lifted her also broke her. Behind the laughter, she clashed with co-star Linda Lavin, and the tension drove her to leave the show. Polly refused to disappear. She turned to film and theater, proving her talent went far beyond one role. Audiences saw her in Gremlins, Mrs. Doubtfire, and Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, where she earned a Tony nomination. Still, the years took their toll. Health problems slowly forced her to retreat from the spotlight, but she never lost her dignity. In her final years, Polly found peace away from Hollywood. She sang in an Episcopal choir, surrounded by music instead of cameras. Polly Holliday played Marva Culp Sr. at 61 years old. She passed away on September 9, 2025 in Manhattan at 88 from pneumonia and chronic illness. Her estimated net worth was $4 million. Michael Lohan Jr. as Lost Boy at camp. In The Parent Trap, 1998, there's a blink-and-you'll-miss-it moment. A little boy wandering through camp, lost and looking for direction. That boy was Michael Lohan Jr., who making a quiet cameo alongside his famous sister Lindsay Lohan. It was his first and only time on a movie set. Born into one of Hollywood's most chaotic families, Michael grew up surrounded by flashing cameras, headlines, and tension. His father, Michael Sr., battled addiction and legal troubles, while his mother, Dina, faced her own struggles with alcohol. As Lindsay became a global star, Michael watched from the sidelines, trying to protect what little normalcy he could find. Every scandal, every arrest, every family fight splashed across the news left its mark on him. Behind closed doors, Michael just wanted peace. He went to college, earned a business degree, and quietly built a life far from the spotlight. But the family name followed him everywhere. In 2016, he was briefly arrested for using a fake parking permit, a small mistake blown up because of who he was. He later completed community service and stepped back from public life entirely. "Fame was never for me," he told a friend once. "It destroyed too many people I love." Today, he's found balance in simplicity. Living quietly on Long Island, Michael runs a small real estate business and stays away from Hollywood and its noise. He still loves his sister, but keeps his distance from the drama that once defined their family. Michael Lohan Jr. played Lost Boy at camp when he was 11 years old. Now, at 37, he leads a private life focused on work and stability. His estimated net worth is $500,000. Simon Kunz as Martin. Martin was the kind of butler you couldn't help but love, loyal, composed, and quietly hilarious. His charm balanced the chaos of The Parent Trap, 1998, and Simon Kunz played him with such natural ease that it felt effortless. Beneath the crisp uniform and gentle wit was a restrained actor. Simon's path to that moment wasn't glamorous. He worked his way through small theater productions across England, often performing to half-empty rooms. It was years of discipline, not luck, that led him to Hollywood. When The Parent Trap came along, it was one of his first film roles, and it changed everything. He brought warmth to Martin, turning a supporting character into a beloved part of the story. Despite the new opportunities, Simon never chased fame. He returned to London, choosing the stage over stardom. The move cost him visibility, but gave him peace. Critics later praised his performance as Max in Address Unknown, 2013, for its study in dawning agony. In recent years, Simon has continued to work steadily, appearing in The Last Kingdom and other British dramas. He calls his career a series of small, honest victories. Simon Kunz played Martin when he was 36 years old. Now, at 63, he lives in London and continues performing on stage and screen. His estimated net worth is $800,000. Hallie Meyers-Shyer as Lindsay. Hallie Meyers-Shyer's appearance as Lindsay in The Parent Trap, 1998, was more than a family cameo. It was a wink from the filmmakers to their daughter. The film itself was lovingly dedicated to her, making her presence part of its heart. She played the role with the same quiet warmth that later shaped her life behind the camera. Born into Hollywood royalty, daughter of writer-director Nancy Meyers and producer Charles Shyer, Hallie grew up surrounded by film sets and scripts instead of playgrounds. From Father of the Bride to What Women Want, she slipped into small background roles in her parents' movies, learning storytelling by watching, not studying. Yet the family legacy was both a blessing and a burden. Expectations were high, and breaking out as her own artist felt impossible. After years of struggling to define her voice, Hallie stepped behind the camera. She wrote and directed Home Again, 2017, starring Reese Witherspoon, a romantic comedy that quietly reflected her own search for independence. Critics noted her gentle confidence, but success didn't come easily. Her earlier project, The Chelsea, collapsed during pre-production, forcing her to start again. It was a painful lesson in Hollywood's volatility. In 2024, she returned with Goodrich, starring Michael Keaton, proving she had staying power. Her films, filled with warmth and introspection, mirror the calm persistence she learned from years spent in her parents' shadow. Hallie Meyers-Shyer appeared in The Parent Trap when she was 11 years old. Now, at 38, she lives in Los Angeles, balancing writing and directing. Her estimated net worth is $1 million. Jeannette Charles as Queen Elizabeth II. Jeannette Charles brought a moment of royal comedy to The Parent Trap, 1998, as Queen Elizabeth II, a role she had spent a lifetime perfecting. By the time she appeared in the film, she had already built an extraordinary career by simply being herself, or rather, by being mistaken for someone else. Her unlikely journey began with a portrait. In 1972, a painting of Jeannette was displayed at the Royal Academy and mistaken for an official portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. When the truth emerged, so did her fame. Offers poured in from advertisers and filmmakers eager to cast the woman who looked exactly like the Queen. Jeannette embraced it, studying the Queen's voice, posture, and presence until she became her mirror. She appeared in cult classics like National Lampoon's European Vacation, 1985, The Naked Gun, 1988, and Austin Powers in Goldmember, 2002. Yet she guarded her dignity fiercely, rejecting any project that mocked the monarch she so admired. Her work took her around the world, even to rehearsals for state visits, where governments hired her to stand in for the real Queen. Later in life, Jeannette turned to writing, publishing a memoir, and making light-hearted appearances on British TV. She retired in 2014, content to fade into the quiet English countryside she loved. Jeannette Charles appeared in The Parent Trap when she was 70 years old. She passed away on June 2, 2024, at 96 in Essex. Her estimated net worth was $500,000. Vendela Kirsebom as bridal gown model. She appeared for only a moment in The Parent Trap, 1998, walking down the aisle in a breathtaking bridal gown, poised and radiant. But that brief scene captured exactly who Vendela Kirsebom was, the embodiment of elegance, confidence, and calm. Yet behind that picture-perfect smile lay years of discipline and heartbreak. Vendela's story began at just 13, when she was discovered in a Stockholm restaurant. By 18, she had left home for Italy, chasing a dream most could only imagine. The glamorous life she stepped into wasn't easy. Long flights, brutal schedules, and relentless pressure to stay thin tested her spirit constantly. Still, her work ethic and natural grace made her a favorite of brands like Elizabeth Arden, Vogue, and Sports Illustrated. The 1990s brought her fame and exhaustion. She was everywhere, yet often felt invisible beyond the image. Between photo shoots and fashion weeks, she privately longed for stability. Her engagement to Hollywood producer Jon Peters made headlines, but their breakup left her shaken. Later, she found love again with Norwegian politician Olaf Thomassen, but their 11-year marriage ended in 2007. Through it all, Vendela used her influence for good, serving as a UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador and mentoring young models. Her resilience carried her into a second act, as a TV host for Top Model Norway and Melodifestivalen, and later as an author of her 2017 autobiography. In 2022, she found joy again, marrying TV personality Petter Pilgaard after a pandemic delay. Even now, she continues to appear on runways, a symbol of timeless grace that defied the fleeting nature of fame. Vendela Kirsebom played the bridal gown model when she was 31 years old in The Parent Trap, 1998. Today, at 58, she remains active in fashion and philanthropy, with an estimated net worth of $2 million. The smiles, the fame, the heartbreak, every member of the Parent Trap cast lived a life you'd never expect. But whose path surprised you the most? Comment below and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next deep dive into Hollywood's hidden truths.